Welcome to the kitchen. Today we're diving into one of the most creative and transformative cocktail technique, fat washing. It sounds like a little wild at first, but it's actually simple, and the results are anything but ordinary. Fat washing is a process of infusing spirits with flavorful fats like bacon, coconut oil, or butter to create deeper and richer drinks. The technique was popularized in the early 2000s and it's been showing up on a thoughtful cocktail menus ever since. The idea is to extract the aromatic and flavor compounds from the fat without leaving behind the greasy textures. For combining of liquid fat with the spirits, letting it infuse, then solidifying and removing the fat, you're left with a silky, complex spirit that carries all the flavors but none of the heaviness. Some common fat washing ingredients include bacon, fat for a smoky twist on whiskey, coconut oil and rum for tropical notes, sesame oil with bourbon for a nutty and toasty character, and what we're doing today is butter and gin for a soft, creamy mouthfeel and a subtle, savory depth. Gin might not be the first spirit that comes to mind when you think about fat washing, but when paired with butter, the botanicals take on a whole new dimension, more rounded, slightly softened, and extremely elegant. Now, let's get started. First, we're going to melt some unsalted butter. I'm using around 25 grams of butter for about 120 ml of gin. That's roughly a quarter cup of fat to a cup of spirit. Place your butter in a saucepan or heat-proof dish over low heat. You want to melt it gently, not browning, not boiling, just a smooth melt. What we're doing is preparing the fat so it's fully liquid and ready to combine with the gin. This helps the flavor extract evenly. Take your time with the part. Rushing the melt can burn the butter and add unwanted bitterness. Low and slow is the key. So as you can see, our butter is golden and very good in texture. Once the butter is fully melted and still warm, it's time to combine it with the gin. Make sure to wipe the mixing jar very clearly so that none of the drops of the water remains in the beaker, because it's going to affect the texture of our mixture. Now what we're going to do is first filter the butter so there is no unwanted sediments in the butter into a clean glass. Now for today's video will be using roughly 120 ml of gin and 25 ml of the butter. So first I'm pouring 120 ml of gin into the mixing beaker. Now pour the melted butter directly into the clean glass with the gin, and I'm using roughly like 22 to 25 ml of butter. Use a spoon to give it a gentle stir to make sure the two are fully mixed. And at this stage, the butter will naturally rise to the top, but while it's warm, it's still infused throughout the liquid. We'll let this sit at room temperature for about an hour, allowing the butter to infuse with the gin with its creamy and savory notes. Now, let's move it into the freezer. After letting it sit for an hour at room temperature, we move the jar to the freezer and let it sit for about 4 hours or until the butter has fully solidified on the top. Overnight is perfect, but because we are doing it in a small batch and very fast, we are doing it for only 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. And as you can see, the butter has solidified at the top of the jar. Once it's frozen, take it out and you will see a solid layer of butter that's formed into the surface. Gently break that up and lift it out with a spoon. You'll be left with a cloudy golden gin underneath. To get a crystal clear, we'll strain it. Place a coffee filter or a double layer of cheesecloth over a fine messy strainer. For today we are using a coffee filter. Pour the infused gin through it, letting it slowly drip into a clean container or bottle. For now, that is a mixing beaker for us. This step removes any remaining fat particles, leaving you with beautifully clear butter washed gin, and that is ready for cocktails. And that's it. Butter washed gin ready to elevate your next martini, negroni, or whatever your imagination dreams up. Rich, round, and surprisingly smooth. Cheers.